and the importance to really help us attain what we're all looking for when it comes to climate change. We are thrilled to see every week young speakers that have incredible minds and are going to be the future of where we're all heading. We need, and we always do this with the help of our community partners. Without them, this would not be possible. Really help us attain this mind all looking for, and we always do this with the help of our partners, but they IIU is the leading virtual education system and a global brand confederation. It is renowned for its innovative programs and commitment to provide education to more than thousands of people all around the world. We are today in 195 countries under the visionary leadership of our founder, Sir Piyush Pandit, a dedicated social activist and passionate education. IIU has rapidly expanded in these last 3 years. We're over 6 continents. This remarkable growth is a testament to IIU's trusted reputation and its mission to offer accessible, inclusive, and diverse education. Another one of our incredible community partners is GSFN. The Global Sustainable Finance is a voluntary membership-based global initiative launched by the European Organization for Sustainable Development, EOSD, and the Association of Development Financing Institutions in Asia and the Pacific. It was launched in 2011 under the auspices of the World Federation of Development Financing Institutions. Their mission, to promote sustainable finance through initiatives that provide growth opportunities to members, enhance their capacities, foster innovation, and bring together stakeholders to promote a model of financial industry that is based on sustainable practices. The objectives the GSFN has established to provide a common platform to help its members' financial institutions benefit from opportunities emerging through transformation to sustainable economy. They foster initiatives that help build public-private partnerships promoting sustainable lending and investment. They also offer networking opportunities. They provide a forum to support the development and execution of sustainable finance policies and practices. They supported members in developing capacities to integrate sustainability across the board. It is an amazing institution that once and once again puts their members first. Our other community partner is iGen, the 74 million young Americans born between 1995 and 2012. They comprise the most important generation in the nation's history, both in size and in composition. 1 out of 4 Americans from the ages of 5 to 23 have been collectively dubbed the iGen generation, which is a short descriptor of the internet generation. This handle won over numerous others, which were the Generation Z, which I had heard of before. But the truth is that iGen was the one that best described this particular generation. Not only has it become the largest social cohort, outnumbering millennials and baby boomers, the iGen generation, or the iGeners, is also the most ethnically diverse generation compared to its predecessor. We also have the great support of the International R&D Group. They facilitate and promote all technical and non-technical research and development. It gives all people of the world and the universe a platform to expose and show their R&D, talents, and creativity. Or education. Educational growth and surveys. They research facilitate the dissemination of policy issues across the country and internationally. All this to benefit the masses. Their International R&D Group is the platform for senior management practitioners, academicians, technical professionals, and all technocrats from all fields to serve the society for new needy students, research scholars, and all people of a global society. The International R&D Group is associated with 292 international journals and different streams in India and across the world. They're associated with us in this journal development research group. The International R&D Group is promoting social science, engineering technology, management research by Organization International, National Creative Talent Conference, workshops, model exhibitions, guest lectures, intellectual meets, employment skills, education, and R&D creativity. They also facilitate and promote all research and technical fields. They facilitate the dissemination of policy issues across the country. And like I said before, their main goal is to always make this understandable for everyone and to benefit the mass. Thank you all, and thank you to our community partners. Thank you. Anita? Oh, Dr. Srividya, your mic. There we go.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Virginia. That was a very good start, and so happy to meet you all for one more session of COP 2030. Just can't believe that we have completed 5 sessions. Good to go, and really, we should congratulate each one of us, and especially the student leaders who have joined us for this session as researchers, change makers, trailblazers, trendsetters, as they're taking forward to the community. That's really fabulous. And also the greatest support from the team, the overall team of COP 2030 Youth Ministry. That really made it possible. And we have got 2 more weeks to go, just keeping our fingers crossed to get it done and finally towards the felicitation. Well, thanks for Dr. Virginia, such a beautiful note on our community partners who have made things happen. Well, going ahead, that's what COP 2030 is all about, and from where it has evolved into is that it evolved from the Global Youth Statement, which wanted students and young people representing the landmark call to the action to the world leaders to step up to the existing challenges and seize the opportunities for the course correction. So on that note, we invited our young leaders to come as Youth Ministry Convoy to take it forward with the plate number of COP 2030, and it is uniquely positioned to facilitate the crucial connection between the COP presidency and the youth stakeholders across the globe. So we are serving this platform, COP 2030 Youth Ministry, is a conduit which has streamlining youth coordination between the governments, NGOs, and other welfare organizations like our community partners of GSFN, IGEN, UCLAN, and R&D University, IA University, to work on the objectives of the UNFCCC, and the ministry can help bridge the gap between the COP presidency and the youth stakeholders. With that note, we are creating a platform for our youth convoy to enhance participation, to instill education with the research work, thereby our mentors are working with the youth capacity to amplify creating a platform for them, to amplify their voices and to spur into the action such that we are able to deliver goals towards the objectives of exactly what is required. So on that note, as I mentioned before, we have covered about 5, this is the 5th week. And this week, it is highlighting on biodiversity. As we all know, what is this biodiversity is all about? It's just, in simple words, it's the variety of life in the world or in a particular habitat or ecosystem. And when we talk about biodiversity, there are different types of biodiversity that we can mention at 3 different levels, which could be genetic diversity, species diversity, and also ecosystem diversity. So together, they form a set of data that can be described as a biodiversity of the area of the land, fresh water, and the sea. Whether the area is big or small, that doesn't matter. So this is what the whole examples of biodiversity is all about. And in which way it is important? How does it help the environment? It helps the environment by the natural events and the sustainable aim of the natural resources. So this context shows that biodiversity is a batch of all the species like bacteria, algae, fungus, grains, cultures, and also about the green ecosystem that we have, the flora, the fauna, and everything as such. Everything comes into it, which represents on this planet. So on that note, we had summed it up with some topics which we thought we will give it to our youngsters to come and talk about it. So this biodiversity underpins the ecosystem overall. Functioning and provision of the ecosystem serves as essential for the human being. So the World Heritage Properties also contributed on this, some of the most outstanding places on the planet, and constitute a significant subset of the protected area of the system. So with that note, we had given the pointers for discussion, for research work, to our young speakers who are gathered here on this platform with outstanding examples representing such significant ongoing ecological and biological processes in the evolution that is happening currently in the earth. And as such, and moving forward, it could be terrestrial, it could be freshwater, it could be coastal, it could be marine ecosystem, and the communities of the plants and animals, etc., etc., etc. And than anything, the most significant and natural habitats from the conservation of biological diversity includes containing those threatened species which are supposed to be extinct, which will go extinct as a universal value and a point of contribution for the science and conservation is also taken into consideration and given as pointers. On that note, I would like to mention the pointers that we have given to our speakers today. Convention on Biological Diversity, Convention on Migratory Species, Ramsar Convention, International Plant Protection Convention, IPPC, Convention on International Trade of Endangered Species of Wild Fauna and Flora, that is CITES, International Treaty on Plant Genetic Resources for Food and Agriculture, International Whaling Commission, IWC, and Biodiversity Liaison Group, which has made this possible to bring the green planet that we have. On that note, may I welcome Dr. Kavita ma'am. These speakers are being moderated and held by the panel of experts. Now I would like to welcome Dr. Kavita ma'am to welcome all of the experts with among us today. Thank you. Over to Madam Kavita.
Thank you, madam. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, you are.
Thank you. A very good evening to one and all present here. Welcome to the COP 2023 Youth Ministry exclusive virtual parliament, where we embark on a journey shaped by the energy, vision and passion of our dynamic youth. This gathering, aptly titled 2030 Youth Ministry, symbolizes a platform designed for and by the youth, reflecting our commitment to fostering a future led by the aspirations of this vibrant generation. Now let me take a moment to acknowledge and welcome our distinguished guest, Dr. Virginia Rivera. Your expertise and commitment to the cause are truly commendable, and we are honored to have you with us today. Welcome, ma'am. Dr. Timidayu, your dedication to the youth ministry is inspiring, and we are delighted to have your valuable insights in enriching our discussions. Welcome you, sir. Dr. Renuka Thakur, your leadership in fostering positive change is well known, and we are privileged to benefit from your wisdom in our virtual conference. Welcome you, ma'am. Dr. Srividya, your commitment to youth development is truly admirable, and we are grateful for your presence here today. Welcome you, ma'am. Professor Eboria, your experience and guidance are invaluable, and we look forward to the enlightenment you will bring to our discussions. Mr. Your dedication to the cause is evident, and we are honored to have you contribution to our Lakshmi. Your expertise and strategy. So each one of you represents a wealth of knowledge, experience, and dedication to the betterment of our global community, particularly in the context of youth empowerment. As we embark on this virtual conference, let us collectively strive towards meaningful discussions, innovative solutions, and shared vision for the brighter future for the youth. Your presence here today is a testament to your commitment to this cause, and we are really confident that your insights will guide us towards the impactful outcomes. The essence of this lies in its inclusivity, providing each voice the resonance it deserves. thereby making this truly helpful for the youth, by the youth, and for the youth. Now let's embrace this opportunity to collaborate, share the ideas, and articulate our for the youth
I think we lost Dr. Kavita there. Moving ahead, yes, ma'am. Yeah.
And also the speakers, Lakshita, Bharati, Farhanas, Lara, and all the speakers of today. And I welcome all the participants who are involved in this. Welcome once again to all for the Scope 2030 Youth Ministry exclusive conference, and may our collective efforts pave the way for more empowered and resilient youth ready to face the challenges of tomorrow. Once again, I welcome each one and all for this conference. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Kavita. That was a wonderful, beautiful welcome to our panel of experts and to one and all. Thank you so much. Thank you, Dr. Virginia. And moving ahead, now it's the time to introduce our speakers for the day. As such, I'll just take a couple of minutes with the pointers. We have Ms. Halimat Tope Akaje, who is a lecturer, Department of Jurisprudence and Public Law, Faculty of Law, Kwara State University, Malete, who is going to speak on Convention on Biological Diversity, and who will be followed by R.A. Lakshita, who is a volunteer from IGIN and IGINARME, Velamal, who is studying in a school, Velamal Vidyalaya, representing IGIN. She is going to speak on Convention on Biological Diversity. Brilliant. That's really forward. I'm getting goosebumps, Lakshita. Really, thank you so much. So, who will be followed by Mr. Ali Ibrahim, who is the CEO of Ligament Consulting Enterprises, Member Institute of Engineers, India, who is a partner of JSFN. Welcome to you, sir, Mr. Ali Ibrahim, who is going to speak on Convention on Biological Diversity. And who will be followed by Felina Gurata, and who is a diplomat from UNITAR, and who is a speaker at World Investment Forum, who is a partner with JSFN, who is representing JSFN on this forum. And she will be speaking on the topic of Convention of Biological Diversity. Moving ahead, we have Bharati S., who is a student again from Mechatronics, student coordinator from IGIN YGIA, who is a partner with JSFN. Welcome to you, Ms. Bharati. She is going to speak upon Convention on Migratory Species, that is CMS. Thank you so much. Who will be followed by Mr. Jenna S., who is a student, BE student, and who is the student chairman of Amit University, who is a partner with IGIN. Welcome to you, Mr. Jenna, who is going to speak on Ramsar Convention. Who will be followed by Lara Nuves, who is a student from Current Affairs and Climate Enthusiast, who is representing JSFN, and who is going to again speak on Ramsar Convention. Who will be followed by Farhanas J., who is a student of BTech and who is additional head of IGIN C4G, who is a partner with IGIN, and she's going to speak upon International Plant Protection Convention, IPC. And who will be followed by Alain Ayadila. He was the first one to log in today. Thank you, sir. Thanks for having you here. Who is a field assistant from MMG Limited, who is an expert of soil management, atmospheric management, who is a partner with JSFN, who is going to speak on International Plant Protection Convention, IPPC. Moving ahead, we have Leena Joshi, who is a founder of Eritreal, who is in the Advisory Council of World Ocean Day, and who is a partner with JSFN, who is going to speak on Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species of Wild Fauna and Flora sites. Moving ahead, we have Iwara George, who is a founder of Active Force Foundation, CEO IGS Nigeria, who is going to speak on International Treaty on Plant Genetic Resources for Food. Welcome to you, sir. Moving ahead, we have Faiz Aisat Ansari, who is a PhD research scholar, who is representing National Law School of India, University, Bengaluru, who is Assistant Professor of Law, Senior Scale, and KIIT School of Law, and who is a partner with JSFN, who is going to speak on International Whaling Commission. Thank you so much. Thanks for giving me this opportunity to welcome our brilliant speakers for the day. On that note, we transfer the whole forum to Ms. Armina. Welcome to you, Ms. Armina. The floor is all yours to welcome the speakers on board. Thank you.
Greetings to everyone. I am proud to be representative of International Internship University. Super topic today, and topic very, very important. And biodiversity, we know all decline is not longer about extinct exotic species and still remote rainforest or melting polar glacier. It is about food, desertification and hunger, about the drinking water crisis, about the unbreathable air, about health problems, about huge migration, and about the future of people of this planet as part of biodiversity. We all have to change, find an happy solution. We all have to ask those who decide for us what to do. We all have to set an example that we understand what is happening around us. And now let's start this beautiful meeting with Mr. Alan Yadila. He is the Field Assistant MMG Limited Expert Soil Management, Atmospheric Management Partner Representative GSFN. He had the topic International Plant Protection Convention, and his will be summarized by Dr. Adebisi. Welcome, Alan Yadila.
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm so excited to be today in this wonderful conference. As you said, my name is Alan Yadila from the Democratic Republic of the Congo. I'm a field assistant at MMG, which is a mining mentor group here in DR Congo. So today I'm going to share with you my topic on International Plant Protection Convention on mining exploitation in indigenous areas. So in this session, we are going to see, I'm going to break this session into three parts. The first part, I'm going to talk about the international, what is the International Plant Protection Convention. And in the second part, I'm going to speak about why International Plant Protection Convention is important. And lastly, I'm going to speak about the impact of the IPPC on mining exploitation in indigenous areas. And we are going to end with a conclusion. So what is the International Plant Protection Convention? So this convention is international instrument for global harmonization for phytosanitary measures for trade and environment. This is the Convention on International Cooperation and Phytosanitary Protection. It's the standard-setting organization for plant health, organized by WTO, which is a World Trade Organization. And currently, IPPC has 183 national plant protection organizations and nearly 10 regional plant protection organizations as members. And the IPPC secretariat is housed by IFIO. What is the IPPC vision? The IPPC vision is to protect the world's plant resources from pests. And also IPPC as mission, its mission is to secure cooperation among nations in protecting global plant resources from spread and introduction of pests or plants in order to preserve food security, biodiversity, and facilitate trade. So what does the IPPC do? The IPPC develops international standards on phytosanitary measures and facilitate their implementation to ensure food security and reduce the risk to agriculture and biodiversity. The IPPC collaborates with other international organizations on aspects of plant health. Currently, the IPPC works on 7 UN Sustainable Development Goals. So it is the convention which which also has some objectives. Among the objectives of IPPC, one is IPPC protects sustainable agriculture and hence global food security. IPPC also facilitates economic and trade development, and IPPC protect the environment and forests and biodiversity from plant pests. And lastly, IPPC develop phytosanitary capacities for members to understand what the IPPC objectives are. So IPPC is so important today. Why? Because the IPPC, as we can see, the human population has doubled in the past 50 years. The global economy has grown nearly fourfold, and global trade has grown tenfold. Up to 40% of global food crops are lost due to plant pests and disease each year. That equals to trade losses exceeding 220 billion in US dollars in agriculture and product annually. Also, why IPPC important? Because global hunger numbers rose again as many as 828 million in 2021, according to the last State of Food and Security report. Also, as we can see, another aspect why IPPC is so important, because climate change and its effect on environment provide new habitats for alien species. Nearly 1/5 of the Earth's surface is at risk of plant and animal invasions, impacting native species, ecosystem functions, and nature's contribution to people, the economic, and human health. So IPPC is important because this also this kind of things can push the IPPC to work so hard. That's why you can see the impact of the IPPC today, because we cannot talk about the environment of the impact of IPPC without talking the impact of IPPC here in DR Congo. Today, as we can see, the significant impact of IPPC in DR Congo, this organization has helped our country to create a national plant protection organization. Today, this organization is working so hard to promote and facilitate plant protection here in DR Congo. Apart from that, also IPPC has helped our country to have a legislation on phytosanitation. So apart from that, IPPC has also a huge impact here in Democratic Republic of the Congo, and the impact on mining exploitation, where I'm working for this time. This impact is so huge. Today, mining companies are working to facilitate the environmental rehabilitation. So this is so important in our community. And as a field assistant, so this year, last year, we have worked so hard to rehabilitate the site where we are now. We produce so many plants, and we also helped farmers here in local farmers to understand, also to protect the plant. Apart from that, also the company also has helped so these farmers to develop some skills so that they can protect plants as it's promoted by the IPPC convention. In conclusion, the global impact of COVID-19 pandemic combined with climate change and disruption in the food supply chain brought on by multiple political conflicts have affected the life of citizens all over the world. Such phenomena have profound consequences on food security and safe trade. Therefore, regional and national organizations on plant protection must work together to preserve our environmental security. So I think this is the insight I would like to share with you concerning the IPPC, which is the International Plant Protection Organization. Thank you.
Excellent. Excellent, Dr. Alan Yadila. Great done. Srividya, if you want to invite for summarize.
Dr. Adebisi, may we request Dr. Adebisi to do the
He
summary
is not here. He is not here. I think he lost connection.
He lost
Yes,
connection.
hello.
Yes, doctor.
Yeah,
Yes,
I
thank you.
think, thank you so much, the speaker, and for that very brilliant presentation. And of course, he has actually mentioned the the major focus of the uh, IPPC, and also the framework and the mode of operation. But I would like to recap what he has said. Like the IPPC is actually focusing on the plant health, and of course, because of the trade between nations and between organizations, and also exchange of plant resources, and there is a fear actually to see to why the pests and diseases and pathogens will not be exchanged or deliberately introduced to other countries. And that was what actually led to the establishment of the IPPC in 1952, like he has said. And this was actually born out of the deliberation of the Food and Agricultural Organization of the United Nations, and also the advancements of this very course, like he has explained, was brought together the standard of how the phytosanitary operation and measures is going to be established and formulated and implemented among nations to foster peace and sustainability among how they will be handling the plant bioresources. And this was actually come into being in 1997. And in 2006, actually, there was a commission that actually was empowered to actually see to how this very policy and implementation is going to be implemented. Like he has a reference that the major aspect of it is the biodiversity, of how to see that the function of the ecosystem function of the plant is actually sustained, and it is preserved, and it is protected for safe planet. And that is all what I have reviewed from what the speaker presented, and it has been a wonderful thought from his side. So thank you.
Thank you so much, doctor. Ms. Armina, can we invite the next speaker?
Can invite the next speaker. Great summarize, Dr. Adebisi. Let's go now to Lina Joshi, founder at Real Advisory Council, World Ocean Day, partner representative GSFN. She have the topic Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species of Wild Fauna and Flora. Welcome, Lina.
Hello everyone, my name is Leena and I am truly excited to speak at this important biodiversity event. Our presence here signifies our shared commitment to understanding, preserving and celebrating the incredible nature of life that surrounds us. Biodiversity, the variety of life on Earth, is a demonstration to the beauty and resilience of our planet. It surrounds a rich array of ecosystem species, and genetic diversity that sustains the delicate balance of life. However, our world is facing a critical challenge: the interconnected issues of biodiversity loss and climate change. Biodiversity and climate change are interconnected. The health of ecosystems is vital in regulating climate patterns, and in turn, climate change poses a significant threat to the survival of many species. Rising temperatures, altered precipitation patterns, and extreme weather events are impacting habitats, disrupting food chains, and pushing many species to the brink of extinction. One crucial aspect of biodiversity that often goes unnoticed is the challenges between invasive and native species. Invasive species, often introduced by human activities, can outcompete and overwhelm native flora and fauna, leading to a loss of biodiversity. This imbalance can have cascading effects on entire ecosystems, threatening the survival of native species and undermining the ecological services they provide. Let's consider plants, the backbone of terrestrial ecosystems. Invasive species in plants, such as the notorious kudzu vine, can quickly spread, outcompeting native vegetation and altering entire landscapes. This not only impacts the plants themselves, but also the myriad of insects, birds, and mammals that depend on native plants for food and shelter. Similarly, the world of animals is not immune to these challenges. Invasive animals like the Burmese python in Florida can disrupt local ecosystems by preying on native species and outcompeting them for resources. The delicate balance of predator-prey relationships becomes distorted, leading to unforeseen circumstances for biodiversity. Similarly, pigeons are not native to India but are to Europe and have been an invasive species in India, due to which the population of sparrows native to India have been declining and are almost on the verge of extinction. Preserving biodiversity is an ethical duty and crucial for our well-being. Ecosystems provide us with essential services such as clean air, fresh water, and fertile soil. Moreover, diverse ecosystems are more resilient to environmental challenges, including those induced by climate change. As climate activists and even as responsible citizens of this planet, it's our responsibility to take action. We must advocate for sustainable practices, conservation efforts, and policies that prioritize the protection of biodiversity. We can work towards a more harmonious coexistence with the natural world by addressing the root causes of climate change, preventing the introduction of invasive species, and supporting the recovery of native ecosystems. We can congregate to safeguard biodiversity and mitigate climate change. Our collective actions today will determine the legacy we leave for our future generations. We can ensure that our planet continues to flourish, providing a resilient home for all species on Earth. If you have any further questions, feel free to reach out to me on my socials. Thank you.
Thank you, Lena. That was a wonderful presentation. I don't think so. We have Dr. Renuka here to do the summary. Do we have Dr. Renuka, Ms. Armina?
Yep, we don't have, she is not here. But we can ask to Dr. Adebisi to summarize also.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, I think I am inspired by the presentation you made, and I want to believe that you are drawing three major critical issues to actually create a kind of a narration of your presentation. First is a biodiversity loss, which is very, very key, which is very, very important to actually look into as a concern threatening the humanity. And you are also looking at the biodiversity in general, talking about the diversity in totality of the different species, of their freedom to actually exist in nature and also thrive in their habitat, and looking at the threat to the freedom of individual species to actually thrive in their respective habitats as the invasive species. Because invasive species is actually trying to displace the native species from their own habitat, and that is another concern on its own. And you now look at the perspective of the climate change, how it is affecting the entire narration of the biodiversity, whether it is a biodiversity loss or the invasive species, or it is some other aspect of how climate change is actually affecting the stability and also diversity and also the preservation potential of biodiversity itself. And that very presentation actually dwell on some measures to actually look into, to be very critical steps to take to actually tackle the situation. You mentioned about sustainable approach to actually manage the biodiversity, and you mentioned sustainable practices. As human, whatever measures we are trying to put forward to manage the biodiversity should be something that is practically sustainable. And you also mentioned something to actually mitigate or to create resilience for the biodiversity against the effect of the climate change. And you also mentioned that, yes, in all measures, there should be something that the solution should take care of all the biodiversity elements of the nature to exist without hindrance or without any external effects from other interactions within species and also within the element of human activity. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Adebisi. That was a wonderful summary, brother. And well, your presence always really supports us a lot. And of course, when it is coming to the younger generation, I think you are always there for them. Thank you so much for your presence, sir, and those insightful words. May I request Mr. Royce? Mr. Royce from JSFN? Mr. Royce from JSFN? Mr. Royce?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, please, Doctor.
Yeah, we were not able to present Leena's presentation when she was presenting herself. So for the next speaker onwards, there's a message from Ms. Jessica that you will have to do the presentation. Will you please help us with that?
Let me check it out for the next presenter.
Exactly, please. Thank you so much. Let Ms. Ermina call the presenter and then you can go ahead, okay? Thank you so much for the support, Mr. Royce. It's well appreciated. So let's not do, because they're all excited. They're waiting for this moment to come. They want to present themselves on screen. So we should not deprive them of this opportunity, which has been God-given. Rather, they earn the opportunity for themselves. Thank you. So let's work together to make it possible for them. Thank you. On that note, may we welcome Ms. Ermina once again to welcome the next speaker on board. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Royce.
It's my pleasure to welcome a young volunteer, Lakshita IGEN ARM, and Valmal Vidalia, partner representative IGEN. Her topic is Convention on Biological Diversity, and she will be summarized, her presentation will be summarized by Dr. Zakira. Welcome, Lakshita.
Yeah, thank you so much for this opportunity. So, hi everyone, this is Lakshita. I am currently studying in 9th grade in Velamal Vidyalaya School in India. So, I am also part of the IGEN Young Green Innovators Army. So, in that group, we have, for 2 years, we have did many research on many problems, and I, along with some of my team members, have worked on the topic of waste to wealth. So we have filed a patent which is named as the garbage indicator. So this is all about me, and I'm very excited for attending today's event. Thank you so much for this opportunity. So I would like to continue with my presentation.
Sorry, dear.
Can I present?
Yes, you should present.
Yeah.
Royce, please, can you stop sharing now? Thank you. Yes, Lakshita, please go ahead. Thank you, dear.
Nice.
Thank you.
Yeah, is it visible, ma'am?
Yes, it is, dear. Please go ahead.
Okay. So I would like to give a glimpse about biodiversity before I begin with my presentation. So biological diversity or biodiversity is the term given to a variety of life on Earth and the natural patterns it forms. So biodiversity that we see today is a fruit of billions of years of evolution, which is shaped by the natural processes. Biodiversity supports everything in nature that we need to survive. Example like the food, clean water, medicine, and shelter. So, according to the WWF's 2022 Living Planet report, it was found that there was an average of 69% decline in the global populations of mammals, fish, birds, reptiles, and amphibians since 1970. So, I would like to give a glimpse about the Convention of Biodiversity. So, there was actually a convention which was held in 1992. It was signed by 150 government leaders at the Rio Earth Summit. The Convention on Biological Diversity is dedicated by promoting sustainable development and considered as a practical tool for translating the principles of Agenda 21 into reality. The conservation of biodiversity is a common concern of humankind. The Convention on Biological Diversity covers biodiversity at all levels. So, as we know, at the ecosystem, the species, and the genetic resources levels. So, it has two supplementary agreements which was made, which is the Cartagena Protocol and the Nagoya Protocol. So, firstly, the Nagoya Protocol. This establishes a framework that helps the researchers access genetic resources for biotechnology research and development. So I would like to discuss about the three objectives of this protocol. Firstly, the conservation of biological diversity, the sustainable use of its components, and the fair and equitable sharing of the benefits of genetic resources. So I would like to give a fun fact. First on the list of the world's most endangered animals in 2022 is the Amur leopard. Since between 2014 and 15, only around 92 individuals of these were left in their natural range. This number is now estimated to be around 84. So we should really be caring about our biodiversity. And now, moving on with the next protocol, the Cartagena Protocol. This is an international agreement which aims to ensure safe handling, transport, and use of living modified organisms, the LMOs. LMOs are any living organism that possess a novel combination of genetic material obtained through the use of modern biotechnology. So this protocol was adopted because of the tremendous advancements in the biotechnology. And this protocol was adopted in Montreal in 2000, but it was named after Cartagena, the original city in Colombia where the protocol was supposed to be adopted. So let's see about the Global Diversity Outlook. This is a summary of the status of the biological diversity and an analysis of the steps which is being taken by the global community to ensure that biodiversity is conserved and used sustainably. So there are totally 5 outlooks which is published by the UN Convention on Biological Diversity, and the Global Diversity Outlook 5 is the final report card on progress against the 20 global biodiversity targets agreed in 2010 with a 2020 decline. So here, again moving on with another fact, the Earth's first animal is nothing but the comb jelly. This comb jelly is an oval-shaped animal with 8 rows of tiny comb-like plates that it beats itself to move through the water. So it diffracts the light and it produces a shimmering rainbow effect. And the world's smallest animal is going to be the Etruscan shrew. These are weighing as little as 1.5 gram and they can grow to become 36 to 52 millimeters long. And now the challenges on biodiversity conservation. Firstly is the habitat loss. Elimination of the ecosystem, whether it could be a forest, a desert, a grassland, will kill all of the individuals in the species. Human destruction of habitats accelerated in the later half of the 20th century. A 5-year estimate of global forest cover loss for the years 2000 to 2005 was about 3.1%, which is a very huge amount. The second factor would be overharvesting. Overharvesting is a serious threat to many species, but particularly to the aquatic species. If you see the whales, they have a slow growing population and they are at a risk of complete extinction through hunting. the exotic species. They are the species that have been intentionally or unintentionally introduced by the humans into an ecosystem in which they did not evolve. So, the importance of biodiversity, maintaining our ecosystem's balance, maintaining our food chains, and we actually need biodiversity so that we could recover from the natural disasters, maintaining the genetic diversity, protecting our natural resources, and also for providing the food for the humans. So, preserving the biodiversity. There are two types of conservations known as the in situ and ex situ conservation. In situ conservation is a conservation of species within their natural habitat. So, in this method, the natural ecosystem is maintained and it's protected. So, examples could be protecting the wildlife in natural parks, wildlife sanctuaries, and biosphere reserves. Ex situ conservation, it involves the breeding and maintenance of the endangered species in artificial ecosystems such as like the zoos, nurseries, botanical gardens, gene banks, etc. And there are many global biodiversity projects which have been initiated and which are going, and these are some of the projects which is being given by the United States Agency for International Development. So it's ACE, agent, and all of these. And now I would like to give the activities that IGEN is doing on biodiversity. Firstly, IGEN Environthon. It's an online international marathon conference which is dedicated to the World Environmental Day in the theme of biodiversity. So our past conference, which was held in last year, it received the Limca Book of Record and WBR London Record. So I invite you all to be a part of the IGEN Environthon 2024. IGEN Cycle for Green. It has a theme, do the cycling with your biodiversity project, and IGEN will tag and recognize you. And next, the IGEN YGEN Army, which I am a part of. So we are just a group of school students, and we are having many volunteers and teachers who are actually innovating, who are actually motivating us to innovate and file patent which is going to be related to environmental project. NSAVE Club events, there are 32 energy saving clubs which will conduct the annual conference in which biodiversity will play a key role. So thank you so much for this opportunity. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for giving a year. Thank you.
Excellent, excellent. I want to invite now Dr. Zahira to make the summarize of your presentation.
Ma'am, I am Dr. Lakshmi, will be summarizing here.
Welcome, Dr. Lakshmi. Please make the summarize.
Thank you, ma'am. Really a wonderful presentation, Lakshita, about a convention on biological diversity, which is a present threat to our human being. So not only we deserve the planet, all the God created living beings are also should be there in the environment. So she covered all the entire things, and she told about the biodiversity in two forms. So one is a Nagoya Protocol. In that Nagoya Protocol, she mentioned about the three objectives, that is conservation of biological diversity, the sustainable use of its components, and also the equitable sharing the benefits of genetic resources. And also she explained about the wild animals, life of the wild animals getting lower. That is, wild animals count as being getting lower because of this global warming. So it has to be taken care by us, which is very, very important in the natural disorders. So we should take action against all these things. And Katana Protocol, which is started in 16th May 2000, and it came into effect on September 2003. And the main protocol adopted is because of the advancements in the biotechnology. And also she explained about the global biodiversity in the form of Outlook, which has been published by United Nations Convention on Biological Diversity, who have submitted the final report on the progress against the 20 biological targets, and which are being agreed in 2010 within 2020 deadline. And she explained that in a very good manner. And also the facts that are related to the biodiversity, and also the challenges which we are facing because of the biodiversity conversion, that is habitat loss and over harvesting and exotic spices, and also the importance of biodiversity, why we go for the biodiversity. We have to maintain the ecosystem. So because of the unbalance, as the living being in the not only the human being and also the living being, the huge animals are getting the numbers are being reduced because of the ecosystem will be balance will be getting affected. So we have to take care. We have to maintain them, and the food chain which we are following also will be maintained, and fast recovery from the natural disorders has to be taken care, and protecting the natural resources, and also how to preserve the biodiversity. Those also will be has been explained by her in a very good manner, and also she told about the hygiene. How we are taking care about the biodiversity in the form of hygiene energeton, hygiene cycle for green, hygiene enslave club events, and hygiene army. So as from the starting students and to the as the present younger generation are the very base for our world growth. So from school students onwards, they are concentrating on the environmental changes, so which will make the biodiversity a global one. Thank you, Ma. A very nice presentation. All the best for your research.
Thank you so much.
Wonderful.
Yeah, may I request Mr. Ivara George, kindly mute yourself, please. Mr. Ivara George, if you can kindly mute yourself.
Please keep your microphones closed.
Mr. Ivara, we need to continue with the session. Can you please mute yourself? Thank you. Yes, Ms. Ermina. We have Mr. David here representing IAU. Mr. David, which is the topic that would you like to present, Mr. David?
Hello. Can I share the screen?
No, your topic, because we don't have it in the list. That's why we're asking.
My topic is digital and financial education strategies.
I'm sorry, you got messed up. Actually, the session is tomorrow, Mr. David. Today we are talking about biodiversity.
Oh, sorry, because they gave me information that my presentation.
Yes, tomorrow we would like to hear from you, and thanks for joining for the session. Tomorrow, it's Sunday tomorrow, the same time. Thanks for joining us. Would love to have you for tomorrow's session. Thank you, Mr. David. Thanks. And you can be here in the session. You can be a part of the session. Please go ahead. You can be here around, definitely. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Ms. Armina, can we please welcome Mr. Ali Ibrahim?
It's my pleasure to invite now Ali Ibrahim, CEO, Riemann Consulting Enterprises, Member Institute of Engineering, India, Partner Representative, GSFN. He will be summarized by Dr. Adul Audru, and his topic is Convention on Biological Diversity. Welcome, Mr. Ali Ibrahim.
My pleasure. Good evening.
Good evening.
Wow. I'm so excited and honored to be here with you. I want to say thank you so much for the hosts for bringing this type of laudable initiative into a sustainable one. I really appreciate that. So in my end over here, okay, I would like to make it all by making the projection of it, but I will try if I can be able to make it with my device because I was just going off to see how the network glitch is going over. But notwithstanding, I will be talking over on biodiversity and convention. In here now, let me see. Okay. If I could be able to share my screen, allow, okay. Yes. So now, I don't know. Can you be able to see? Okay, they are projecting over there. Oh, okay. Yes. So let me. Okay. So now we are looking over on biodiversity. Biodiversity is something that's really part of us, part of the creation. In my definition, which I mentioned, the bio is a two synonymous word when added together, which the bio means life, living the life, and the diversity of it means varieties in that aspect. If you happen to look over on it, in this our life now that we are living, all living things have their own varieties. And these varieties need to be commensurate together to make a sustainability in this life we are living. According to a research says that anything to that so that it can be sustainable for the future. When if you look about the line, next slide, okay, we are looking about the three categories of this biodiversity, which is going to come over, that is their classification. We look at it that we have in the genetic way, that means in the gene, that is to be the inside genetic makeup of the body system, the species at the center, the ecosystem. In this category of it now, we are looking about how this diversity is going to happen within a given living thing, because every living thing is diverse. Let me come over, for instance, we are talking about language diversity. If we say language diversity, we are looking about different type of language in which human being can speak. Now I can say, maybe I wanted to speak India to say thank you in India. That means by saying, Ali Ibrahim will just say Namaste. Then maybe I'm saying, so want to say in Arab, maybe I say Shukbo. These are diversity we are talking about. So this diversity of living things varies depending on where these living things are being situated. Next page, next slide. Next slide, please. Okay. So now we are looking about the conservation of this biodiversity. If we are to look on the conservation of this, our biodiversity, that is our living synergy within, we need to be looking out on what measure are we looking on to make sure that this conservation method we are using can really suit to what we are doing. Because every living things now are going to extinction. More especially if I give you an example from my area, we look about the butterfly. There are some species of butterfly which are good for pollination. They are going extinct. And in that regard, there need to be a preservation towards that. And while we are doing preservation of that, bee too is part of pollination, which can be able to aid that. We are now looking about those methods we could be able to use and the derived benefits. That means we should be looking forward for the possible means of making this conservation well sustainable, at the same time our own purpose benefits. So in this point now, I just narrated on the benefits was that to preserve and protect the species of their own habitats. The second line was going to maintain the essential ecological process. Ecological process means that the synergy, which I already said earlier on, the synergy within the ecosystem, the synergy within the gene phase, the synergy within the context of the echo himself. We need to have a bonding on it without having a lack on it. Then in that aspect now, we should now be looking over on the way towards doing that. And there are two ways to which you can make that conservation happen. We go into the in situ and we go through the ex situ. The in situ deals with conservation within the ecosystem, within the gene therapy, within the species, while the ex situ deal with outside of it. If you look at the diagram below over there, which I happen to make a little clarification on it, that in that institute, we should be looking about our biosphere resources, the national park, that is the production of, creation of national parks, museum, and all the rest of. While in the institute now, we should be looking about the botanical garden, the zoo, then the gene banks, then the tissue bank. Why is it like that? We are looking about this ex situ process is that we are taking those living things of where they are. Why the in situ, they are in there, not just like national park, they are in there and we are nurturing them for protection. And next slide, please. Next slide. Next slide. Can you get the next slide? Okay. The national park, like the national park, is being created for reserve purpose and for ecological purpose. At the same time, it's a tourist center too. So now this is a part of in situ. The wildlife sanctuary too, we have some aspects in the Kenya, in Nigeria too, that it's just a sacred area, it's an area which is just being restricted for life following on life growing of all type of animals are there. They allow them to go. Next slide. Then the biosphere too, we have them and the sacred forest. The next slide is part of the in situ. Then the ex situ, we have the siege gene bank. This one are like the collection center which will be having in different segments and different departments. And government intervention and the CSO intervention allow for that, for much production at the same time for not allowing them to get more scars on it. Next slide. We have the tissue cultural bank. In the tissue cultural bank too, same apply to it, that we have a stem, meristem being harvested and be kept over time so that it can get extension. The botanical garden to which we are already mentioned earlier, that this garden too is being done so that every living thing has a sample, a reference for a research purpose that we can be able to call up on. And next slide. Next slide. Okay, so the zoological garden was the next slide, which purposely deal with the free live zoo on it, where the wildlife is going over to be like in the India, we have a zoo in there that will be able to, that is the the Barakpura in 1800, which have a world large about 800 zoos, and in such area we have it in the water side. And then in that area now, we are having a more of zoo in that area compared to other, and every other country happens to look forward to imitate the existence of more zoological garden in each of their sphere, in each of their locations. Thank you so much for your time, and thank you so much everyone for coming over. And I really enjoyed all the speaker and the lectures which they really pass. It's really an amazing, and I am so much excited and happy to look forward to hearing question, contribution, and looking forward to championing the conservation and the practice of biodiversity in Nigeria and the rest of the world, championing it in the global sphere. Thank you so much. Thank you.
May we request Dr. Tedimayo Adiloju to do the summary? Dr. Tedimayo Adiloju. Doctor, are you here? Did we miss her? Oh. Well, thank you, Mr. Ali Ibrahim. That was a wonderful presentation on conventional biological diversity. Well, you have covered all the factors of the present and the past and related to the future of what is to be taken as the strategies and the policies and the remedial measures that has to be implemented in different parts of the world, taking Africa as a main example, especially the Congo area. And well, we will look into it and we will definitely come back to you on this. If Dr. Tedimayo Adiloju is going to join us back, she will do the summary for you. Thank you so much, Mr. Ali Ibrahim. Moving ahead, Ms. Admina, can we welcome the next speaker on board? Thank you so much.
Sure, I am here to welcome the next speaker. She has such an interesting topic, Convention on Migratory Species. And it's about Bharti. I want to welcome her. She is a student, mechatronics student coordinator, IGEA 9P partner representative, GSFL. Welcome, Bharti.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. I'm Bharti and I'm really excited to talk here today. And listening to the previous speeches, it has really motivated me to, I'm sure my contribution would also be helpful over here. And I would like to share my screen. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to start now. So today I'll be talking about our CMS, that's the Convention on Migratory Species, and it's a very interesting topic because it's something that's very close to me. I've seen a lot of birds and butterflies coming around here, and I just admire the way they look. And I didn't know that they had so many other things other than their beauty too. So I would like to share those things that I've learned with you today. And I'll be talking mostly about the CMS and the objectives and how these migratory species are very important and how the organization has gone about conserving them. So CMS was established in 1979 and in West Germany, and it has a total number of 131 member states. So it is established under UNEP, the UN's environmental program, where they will be conserving a lot of the species other than us, like humans, all the other animals, mammals, and everything that need a lot of support. And they are facing a lot of problems globally because of the changes that we have made to the environment. So to avoid those things, we can still work on by contributing to the society. And the main objective of CMS is to protect the migratory species and ensure that their habitats and all their migration happens safely. So the main threats that migratory species face are habitat loss, climate change, human activities that require international collaboration for effective conservation, because they are moving on from one countries and continents to over others. But we humans might be observing borders, but they just observe the different habitats and their life cycles. So the main objectives of the CMS, that is international cooperation, raising awareness, and legally binding agreements. So international cooperation is very much needed so we can conserve a lot of these species, irrespective of the place where they are. And awareness raising is important because we all need to know on the significance of migratory species, because they help us a lot. And the main awareness will also be against poaching and habitat loss and deforestation, and those things should be stopped so we can still ensure that we are living in an eco-friendly place. And legally binding agreements to ensure that a specific species or a specific group of animals are safe in particular parts. So overall, they can all be conserved. And all of this is carried out through the Conference of Parties. They have periodic meetings for the member countries to discuss and progress and adopt resolutions to set the agenda for the upcoming projects. So now I'll be talking on the importance of migratory species. So most of what we have seen is that they're moving in large groups from one place to another, but they also are very great biodiversity contributors because these species contribute by a lot of ecological indicators where they show humans what we usually don't observe due to a busy world. And when we see a certain a group of animals coming in, we can maybe think and ensure that maybe the climate has changed over there and those things. And the ecosystem services are that are very vital for our daily living also. That's pollination, seed dispersal, and pest control. And the pest control is a very important part because once the pests and all the weeds and those things are increasing, then the normal life can be carried out by the other animals. So this is these are a few important points. And the challenges faced by them, like many of my previous speakers in the meeting have said, is mainly deforestation, climate change, and the loss of habitat. So due to deforestation, there is a lot of loss of habitat, and this can also lead to loss of biodiversity. So there's a lot more global warming because of the increased greenhouse gas emissions. And these things could be stopped if we are observing the SDGs and making sure we are living a more sustainable life as an individual. And the primarily burning fossil fuels and rising temperatures also pose a lot of climate change issues. They also not only affect the animals and these migratory species, but they also affect us, the humans, and our work like the agriculture and those things. And how the species are affected, migratory species are affected, is that it alters the migration patterns and the habitats. So because of these changes, they get confused, and a lot of other problems are arised. And now we have seen a lot about the problems that they face and what migratory species are. And now I would like to show you some of the important migratory species. Like there are many different subcategories, but beginning with the shore birds, there are shore birds, mostly the water side birds, waterfowls, and raptors. And while in mammals, there are whales. They're greatly endangered, but now they are being conserved through the CMS. And the wild bees and bats, and fish, there are salmon and eels. And the insects, there are butterflies and dragonflies, as I had mentioned at the beginning of my speech. Some of the most interesting migratory species that I thought were these three. There's the Siberian cranes, Berlin whales, and the Saiga antelope. So the Siberian cranes, they come to India and they travel around 400 miles all the way from Siberia to make sure that they're not so cold. And they have been protected by our national parks because that's where they've been spotted. And this conservation of habitat has greatly helped them. Even it was an endangered species, but through the agreement of the Siberian cranes, the population has supposedly increased. And the Baleen whales, that's one of the most beautiful whales that have been hunted very recklessly, but it travels around 10,000 miles, and it has a trip around the entire world almost, from the cold oceans to the warmer parts of water. So that entire travel is really long, but still they are approached a lot, and they have also been saved through the agreements that have taken place to the CMS and the Saiga antelope. This is one of the most endangered antelope species, and it varies. It is land mammal, so it walks a long way, and depending on the weather and the forage conditions, it may reach up to 1,000 kilometers a year for the journeys of these animals. So what are the prime objectives of CMS? So as I have mentioned so far, mainly conserving these animals and the different habitats, that's terrestrial, marine, or the birds, and they are conserved through legal foundation to conduct conservation measures on a global scale, and they are legally binded through agreements and to less formal MOUs. So these migratory species travel a lot through different countries through their entire life. So there is international collaboration that is needed to ensure that they are conserved. So the COP, that is the Conference of the Parties, through this all the agreements and most of the things are decided. So this is one of the main decision-making bodies of the CMS, and they make the major changes. So the meetings happen typically 3 years, and they bring up all the member countries together so they can discuss a few of the things like the policy formulation, the review of progress, adaptation of resolutions, amendment of appendices, and the budget approval. So the policy formation is where they form new policies according to the season and according to the most endangered species, and seeing all of these things, they make new policies and then review progress. So they might have made resolutions the previous meeting, so they can see how far they have reached it, have they achieved it, or have they still have some more place to go to achieve it. And the adaptation of resolutions, so through the discussion of most of the countries together, they can make up new resolutions to ensure that the upcoming migratory species are also conserved. And when there is a few changes that needs to be made to these already made agreements and policies, they can make the amendments. And lastly, the budget approval, where they get approval of the budget and the funds they need to ensure that all of the conservation is happening in the right way. So a few of the important agreements under the CMS that have actually proved to be a great success is the African Eurasian Waterbird Agreement, where the entire wetlands of Africa and one of the seas have been conserved, and I think it has been very beneficial to the Siberian cranes. The agreement on the conservation of albatross and petrels, also to conserve the albatross. It's a very largely hunted bird because it's very beautiful, and we've also read a book on that. So the agreement and conservation of albatross has ensured that while they're migrating, they're not illegally poached or hunted down. And the conservation of the saiga antelope was also taken place through the land areas, so to ensure that the people are not illegally doing anything, and the deforestation and climate change is rather less in those parts. And the protection of marine turtles, so the marine turtles that lay the eggs on the beach, the eggs often get crushed and they have a lot of problems by the time they hatch. So there are a few places that are conserved to ensure that these turtles are protected. And usually around Chennai, we used to go to the olive redley turtle walk, where we conserve the olive redley turtles to ensure that the eggs are not destroyed. And the achievements so far that the CMS has made is bringing back the giants, the humpback whale and the Saigia antelope. These two were almost extinct, and through the agreements that I've mentioned so far, they've ensured that they can bring these life forms back and ensure that they are still existing in a peaceful way, and restoring critical habitats like the African Eurasian migratory waterbirds, those habitats, and the mangrove forest. Mangrove forest is one of the most richest habitat, I feel, because it has a perfect combination of all the trees, the sand, and the water. So the mushy land has been a great habitat for many different kinds of lives. And the innovative solutions that have been through the satellite tracking and community-based conservation. So
But-
satellite has, yes,
Yes, continue, please continue.
So satellite tracking has been helpful to so we can tag these migratory species and ensure that they are going in the right way and they are not poached or they are not taken away by humans, and inspiring the change through public awareness, like sharing what we have learned with others, like what we are doing today, and the political will. And the challenges that are faced by the CMS is the limited resources that they are now working on public and private sector combinations to ensure that they have a good amount of funding. And the enforcement gaps, like even though we make a lot of agreements, there might still be a lot of illegal poaching, deforestation, and things that are done illegally. So these enforcement gaps can be avoided by making sure that we have a little more stricter things, like when people have been put a fine for poaching whales and those things, it has gradually reduced. So maybe those enforcements can be done to ensure that we're still conserving effectively. The data deficiencies, where we don't have enough data on the species or the migratory species, so we don't know when they are actually going to come and how many are going to come. So we are not able to conserve them effectively. And the climate change that has been one of the biggest hindrance for all of the life forms. So that also needs to be reduced, and public engagement through ensuring that many people are aware of it, so they can also, like what I have observed, they can also enjoy these beauties coming in and seeing how they migrate in groups. And looking ahead, they are charting new courses by saying that they can have innovative financial mechanism like the public-private partnership, and strengthening enforcement and collaborative research or data sharing. So through these things, they can have a lot of effective things done, and ensuring that the conservation is also done. And to conclude, I would like to say that migratory species aren't just travelers. They are really vital threats for us to make sure that the entire biodiversity is proper. So conservation can be done by us and everyone together, so we can contribute to the health and the resilience of the ecosystem that they are in. Thank you so much. Thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you, Bharati. I think she deserves a big round of applause from each and every one of us. For your age, really, it was fabulous. And the content and the way you presented with the confidence, really, we are so proud. And end of the day, I'm so happy to share that on this podium, on this platform, on this dais, that we are towards it. We are not just towards it, we have reached it. COP 2030 Youth Ministry. That is for the younger generation. It's of the people, for the people, by the people, and you guys are taking it forward. Such a brilliant presentation, Bharti. I'm so proud of you. Isn't it, Dr. Virginia? Amazing it is.
No, I totally do. I think it was a brilliant presentation, and I think let's commend her first on her presentation skills and the confidence that maybe she was nervous, but we never saw. We just saw.
Doctor.
Can you see? Can you hear me?
No.
Okay, so I think it's my. I think it might be my my internet. So continue. I'll come back.
When you come back, definitely. So yes, Ms. Armina, can we welcome Dr. Lakshmi to do the summary? Thank you.
I want to invite, it's my pleasure to invite Dr. Lakshmi to do the summarize of Bharti.
Thank you, ma'am. I am very much happy to summarize the presentation given by Bharati against the migratory species. So she explained what ma'am, Srividya ma'am told. She explained starting from end in a very confident manner. So this children, youth are becoming very conscious about the social activities. So with them we can make the world a green world. So in that presentation, she explained about the importance of migratory species and about the concept, why objective of CMS, and also the conference of COP, what are the agreements made under CMS and the achievement and success stories, and also the challenges for future direction. She explained in a very good manner. So Convention of Migratory Species, she was established in the year 1979 with a total of 131 member states, conserving the migratory species on the global scale, which is done in Bonn, West Germany. And also she explained about how to safeguard the migratory species and their habitats globally. How the climate change will be because of that. That is what are the threats we are facing: habitat losses, climate change, and the human activities which are required to international collaboration for effective conservation. And also what are the objectives to be made. International collaboration should be there, and awareness how we are making the environment polluted, and legally binding agreements to be made. And she also explained about the conference of the parties, where the periodic meeting will be held by the member countries to discuss about the progress and the solutions and to meet the agendas. And she explained about the significance of migratory species. That is how the ecosystem has to be provided, and biodiversity contribution with the help of ecological indicator, pest control, energy and matter movement, and pollinators and seed distributors, and also the challenges which are being faced by the migratory spices. And finally, she explained about the prime objective of CMS. What are the prime objective we have to make? She explained those in detail, and she explained about the conference of parties, which we have to make. In that, she told about the policy formulation, review of progress, and adoption of the resolutions, amendments, and the budget approval, and what are the agreements made by CMS, and also the achievements done by them. That is bringing back the gains and innovative solutions by satellite tracking the community, restoring the critical habits, and inspiring the change to the public, informing the public. And what are the challenges? That is, we are having only a limited resources, and there is a gap between for the enforcement and public engagement has to be there. And so that is new courses are being given to the society. That is innovative financial mechanism, strengthening the enforcement, collaborative research are being explained by her. Very good presentation, ma. All the very best for your research. Thank you for giving me an opportunity. And we are very happy to give this type of younger generation from iGen. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Lakshmi. That was always, we are so happy to have iGen students amongst us, because they are definitely the leaders who are taking it forward. Really, I know that. And we really appreciate it from the bottom of our hearts. It's really making our event more meaningful rather than towards its rational, towards its objective. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. Well
Let's
done,
go now to the
Bharati.
next.
Yes.
Yes, let's go now to the next speaker, dear Shreya. He has such an interesting topic, International Treaty on Plant Genetic Resources for Food. He will be summarized by Dr. Virginia Rivera. His name is Ivara George, founder Active Focus Foundation, CEO IGS Nigeria. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Virginia. Thanks for accepting it at the last minute, though your name was not put in the panel of experts this week, since Dr. Adibisi had to leave. So thanks for chipping in, and that's the true spirit. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Excellent. Excellent. Mr. Ivara, you are there? Ivara George?
Mr. Royce, can we please check with Mr. Ivara? Mr. Ivara? Okay, now, so
I
should we...
I already texted him, and I haven't received a feedback. Let me again.
He has joined in. He has joined in now.
And then he come, we can go to the next speaker maybe?
Yeah, Miss, we'll check whether, I think he has a very weak internet connection. His internet connection is not stable. So let's check with him. What is he planning to do, and then we'll go ahead. Mr. Ivara? Yeah. He's connecting to audio now. Maybe he will take your help for the presentation, Mr. Royce. Yes, Mr. Ivara, please go ahead. Mr. Ivara? Mr. Ivara George?
I'm here with you. I'm here with you. Hello.
Thank you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we are able
Can
to
you
hear
hear
you.
me? Okay, thank you. It's been a wonderful opportunity in this wonderful conference. Opening the landscape of biodiversity has sent a greater message across party lines. I want to talk about food resources in biodiversity. Now, biodiversity has created a lot of
Mr. Ivara, do you have a
significant.
presentation?
Yes, it's with Jessica. I have sent it down
Mr.
with the
Royce,
team.
can you please run the presentation for Mr. Ivara?
Yes, I'm on it. Kindly, shortly to be coming in.
Thank you.
Okay.
So Mr. Royce will run the presentation for you, Mr. Ivara. Please go ahead. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Biodiversity has played a very significant role in food resources around the world. It has made a lot of contributions from plant and animal species that they play key role in food production. Now, major food component constituent items across the world come in what we talk about biodiversity, from vegetable fruits, produce to meat to dairy production to food items on the table. Biodiversity plays a very good role. Now, we have some major challenges that come into play since we are talking about the biodiversity and what we have to do, things that lead to decline in food production. Over time, anthropogenic factors from humans have reduced the quantity and the quality of produce due to activities in oil and in other main factors that affect our productivity. Now, we discovered that at a long range, things have come to make our production decline without even talking about the factors that make things to go this far. Now, climate change has a profound effect on food resources when we have a decline in production across, let's say, for example, in Nigeria, the sectors in the southern we have forest conservation that help in protecting the environment. We have issues like environmental degradation. We see companies using mines to blast up the environment, and the forest reserve we have in certain locations that help conserve the environment are no longer protected. We see different crops that we used to come up in ambient and maximum quantity are being declined across the day. Now we have series of issues that affect this series of crops, from the temperature range and other factors, different challenges from drought structure, and even the land we have is not even strong enough to manage some of these resources. All these factors will reduce the availability of food for humans across the world, not just in Africa, not just in Nigeria. Livestock also play and they play a primary role when it comes to food availability. Bioconservation, bioresources also help them to stabilize, to live their normal life. But we have challenges because we interfere with these resources and they have a decline. A list of issues come from our personal activities, from individuals, from organizations, where people that go a long way to destroy these available resources. Then how do we talk about them? How do we protect our environment? How do we make this stuff available? How do we put up a sustainability value chain? What are the things we need to do? What are the limitations we need to put up? What are the factors we need to do to make this thing, to make us a better place? And how do we keep on having ambient resources so that we can have a good production factors? Now, there are some certain things we need to also understand, that if we keep destroying the available resources we have in the environment, we will not have that quantitable number of output that we originally have from the very beginning. Now, I encountered some certain workers while I was in the field. Every time they were complaining that they can no longer protect these resources because some agencies and factors don't even recognize what they are doing. So they will go as long as destroying the resources for the food. And there are some certain effects of this stuff that affect these food resources. Now, some of the factors that affect them include our temperature. The increase in the rate of evaporation and affect the soil moisture, which leads to damage of crops. Just imagine we clear the forest and we have an open sky and we have series of emissions. How will the crops survive? What is the moisture content? How will we balance the environment? How do this stuff come into play? What are the things that we need to do to protect them? I even encourage those that to even plant a tree in the environment, but they refuse. We also find out about the rainfalling pattern, the flooding. How do we keep things working? We also have crops that are susceptible to temperature and they suffer a lot of climate damage. Major crops are not sustained with certain issues in the world. We have series of issues. Now we have a lot more of flooding across the particular states in Nigeria that within local government of the state was fully flooded due to the way we don't protect what we have, due to the way we don't even conserve what we have, due to the way that we don't even manage what we have. So we have series of problems in food production. 90% of these activities is done by humans, done by people in those communities, done by people in those environments. So we have a decline in the food resource available. Hello? Hello? Hello?
Thank you. Hi, we can hear you. We can hear you. Are you continue? Are you done? Huh? I think he's done.
Dr. Virginia, I think we have lost him there. Thank you for the wonderful presentation. Yes, yeah. Can we request Dr. Virginia to do the summary for Mr. Ibarra? Thank you.
Well, thank you so much. And I mean, too bad that we couldn't really hear him. It seems that it was a really good presentation, but definitely the resources that are being affected in our food is key, and participating in the SDGs and what we're looking for, especially when it comes to ending hunger, is key. The International Treaty on Plant Genetic Resources, which is this topic for food and agriculture, is an important international agreement. I think that we probably couldn't hear what he had to say, but the truth is that this is one of the most important treaties in order to really help us have and guarantee food resources for the future generations. So he presented many interesting things that are happening right now. We have already heard all of it with climate change. You know, it's affecting our water, it's affecting agriculture, which is the backbone of everything. This treaty recognizes the crucial role of plant genetic resources in food security. Food security it's just making sure that everybody has food to eat. And he also presented that in Africa, many countries are having issues with having enough food for all their inhabitants. So this is really key that we understand all the different parts that are working. Part of this treaty also is the establishment of a multilateral system, something like a framework for countries to share and access plant genetic resources, share best practices in a fair and a very equitable manner. So definitely it includes many mechanisms, and I think that we should all understand that this treaty does exist, and it's really trying to safeguard food resources for the future. So thank you so much. It was a great presentation. We couldn't really hear him, but I was able to read. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Virginia. That was a good summary. Thank you from your side. Thank you so much. Ms. Armina, do we have Mr. Faiz Aizat Ansari?
I want to invite him. Let's see if he's here, because he lost the connection once.
Otherwise,
Mr. Faraz, are you there? Mr. Faiz?
Mr. Faiz Ait Ansari?
Yes, and Mr. Faiz also come.
No, he's not there. So we'll welcome Mr. Jana.
Okay, let's go to Mr. Jana. He is a student.
Hello everyone, I'm Jana from India. I'm
welcome.
studying BSW Marine at Ahmed University, and I'm really excited to talk about Ramsar Convention.
Great, you have a great topic. You can start your presentation. As he said, Mr. Jana is student, chairman, Amit University, partner representative IGEN, and he have a great topic, Ramsar Convention.
Table of contents, introduction to Ramsar Convention, objectives of the Ramsar Convention, key of Ramsar Convention, designation of Ramsar sites, benefits of Ramsar sites, challenges and conservation efforts, case studies of Ramsar Convention. The Ramsar Convention is an international treaty established in 1971 to address the conservation and suitable use.
Mr. Jena, sorry to interrupt there. You need to make it slideshow, otherwise your slides will not move. You need to go to the slideshow mode. Slideshow. Present it as a slideshow. First try to close these pink ones. Pink and the yellow one. Protected view on the notice. Close these two. And then go to slideshow mode.
Jana, you can close that enable editing in the top. You cannot see the slideshow?
No, ma'am.
Yeah,
Ma'am,
close
can
the
you
other
see?
one also.
Ma'am, can you see it?
What happened, Jana?
Can you see?
No,
Slides are empty.
No, his slides are still loading, ma'am. You need to refresh and come back. You need to close and present it again. They're still loading. Jenna, try presenting it now, please. Share screen.
Oh, okay. Can you see it now, ma'am?
It's loading. No, it will load. Share screen. Zakira ma'am, should we try with the next speaker? Otherwise?
Ma'am, shall I share the screen, ma'am? Jana, shall I share the screen?
Yes, you can. You can, ma'am.
Jana? Is he here? No? Jana, can I proceed, Jana? Jana, are you there? Jana, I am presenting. You can just talk.
Jana, just unmute your mic and talk, ma'am. Is going to will present your screen.
Oh, yes, ma'am. Okay, ma'am.
I will present, ma'am. Okay. Is it visible, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am, visible.
Ma'am, go for the
Start,
first
Jana.
slide.
You can talk.
Yeah.
I will move the slides.
Jenna, can you please go ahead?
My topic is about Ramsar Convention. Ma'am, table of contents, introduction to Ramsar Convention, objectives of the Ramsar Convention, key principles of Ramsar Convention, designation of Ramsar sites, benefits of Ramsar sites, challenges and conservation efforts, case studies of Ramsar sites, conclusion. Introduction to the Ramsar Convention. The Ramsar Convention is an international treaty established in 1971 to address the conservation and sustainable use of wetlands. It was named after the city of Ramsar in Iran where the convention was signed. The Ramsar Convention plays a crucial role in the protection and management of wetlands worldwide. It aims to promote the use of wetlands, recognizing their ecological value and the benefits they provide to humans and the environment. Objectives of the Ramsar Convention. The Ramsar Convention aims to promote the conservation and the wise use of wetlands. Wetlands are vital ecosystems that provide numerous environmental benefits. The Convention emphasizes the wise use of wetlands, ensuring their sustainable utilization. This involves balancing human needs with the conservation of wetland resources. The Ramsar Convention promotes international cooperation in the conservation and management of wetlands. It encourages collaboration. Ma'am, next slide, ma'am. Key principles of the Ramsar Convention. The Ramsar Convention recognizes the vital ecological functions of wetlands. Wetlands provide essential services such as water, purification, flood control, and habitat for biodiversity. The Ramsar Convention emphasizes the need for effective management of wetlands. This includes measures to conserve and sustainably use wetland resources. Next slide, ma'am. Designation of Ramsar sites. The Ramsar Convention, also known as the Convention on Wetlands, is an international treaty that aims to protect and conserve wetlands of international importance. The designation of Ramsar sites is a crucial step in the conservation of this valuable sea ecosystem. Process of designation. There is the 4 steps: identification, national designation, documentation, international recognition. First, identification. The first and foremost step is the designation process. Is identifying wetlands that meet the criteria for Ramsar designation. These criteria include ecological significance, biodiversity value, and cultural importance. National designation. Once a wetland is identified, the respective country must officially design it as a Ramsar site. This involves a formal declaration by the government and the commitment to protect and manage the site. Documentation. Detailed documentation is prepared for each Ramsar site, including information on its ecological characteristics, biodiversity, and cultural value. International recognition. The final step is the recognition of the Ramsar site by the Ramsar Secretariat. This provides international recognition. Next slide, ma'am. Benefits of Ramsar site. There are various benefits like prevention of biodiversity, provision of ecosystem service, support for local communities. And Ramsar site plays a crucial role in conserving and protecting a wide variety of plant and animal species, including endangered and migratory species. This site provides essential habitats, breeding grounds, and feeding areas for diverse wildlife populations. And Ramsar sites offers a wide range of ecosystem services such as water purification, flood control, and erosion prevention. Wetlands within the sites act as natural filters, improving water quality and regulating water flow. Ramsar site provides numerous benefits to local communities, including livelihood opportunities, tourism, revenue, and cultural significance. These sites often attract visitors who engage in recreational activities like bird watching, fishing, and boating. Challenges and conservation efforts. Challenges are pollution and deforestation. Wetland faces various sources of pollution, including industrial waste, agricultural runoff, and litter. This can harm the delicate ecosystem and threaten the biodiversity of Ramsar sites. The clearing of forests near wetlands can disrupt the natural water flow, leading to changes in hydrology and loss of habitat for wetland species. Next slide, ma'am. Conservation efforts. Wetland restoration, sustainable land use. Efforts are being made to restore and rehabilitate degraded wetlands through initiatives such as reforestation, water quality improvement, and removal of invasive species. Encouraging sustainable land use practices such as responsible agriculture and forestry can help minimize the negative impact on wetlands and promote their conservation. Ramsar sites and their locations and their key achievements. Everglades National Park, Florida. It's located in Florida, United States. Conservation efforts, wetland restoration, invasive species management, water quality improvement. Key achievements: recovery of endangered species, increased water flow, improved ecosystem health. Sundarbans National Park, Bangladesh and India. Protection of mangrove forests, tiger conservation, sustainable livelihood for local communities, increased tiger population, reduced deforestation, improved community well-being. Okavango Delta, Botswana, sustainable tourism, water management, anti-poaching efforts. Preservation of pristine ecosystem, increased wildlife population, economic benefits for local communities. Donana National Park, Spain, wetland restoration, water management, conservation of endangered species, recovery of avian lynx population, improved water quality enhanced. Next slide, ma'am. Conclusion. The Ramsar Convention is an essential international treaty that aims to conserve wetlands and promote their sustainable use. Though its objectives, key principles and designation of Ramsar sites, the convention has made significant contribution to wetland conservation, and by recognizing the ecological, economic, cultural and scientific value of wetlands, the convention has raised awareness about the importance of these unique ecosystems. It has also facilitated international cooperation and knowledge sharing to address the challenge facing wetlands. Although progress has been made, there are still challenges to overcome such as habitat loss, pollution and climate change. However, through ongoing conservation efforts and the implementation of sustainable management practices, the Ramsar Convention continues to play a crucial role in protecting wetlands. And this case studies presented in this presentation highlight the positive impact of the Ramsar Convention in different regions around the world, from the restoration of degraded wetlands to the conservation of critical habitat for migratory birds. These examples demonstrate the effectiveness of the Convention's principles and guidelines. As we conclude this presentation, let us remember the importance of wetlands and the need for continued efforts to conserve and protect this valuable ecosystem. By working together, we can ensure the long-term sustainability of wetlands. Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Jana. That was a wonderful presentation. May we request Dr. Zakira ma'am to do the summary for Mr. Jana?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Please go ahead.
Jana, your presentation is very well. You are talking about Ramsar conservation. So, Ramsar conservation, you have started with how it is introduced. That is, it is introduced in 1971, and you have mentioned the objectives of Ramsar conservation, about how it is used in wetlands and how we are going to conserve and sustainable made the wetlands, and then the key principles of Ramsar, that is recognizing the ecological functions of Ramsar conservation and how to manage it effectively to make the wetlands preservative. So you have started with the India's map mentioning different Ramsar sites and how the process of Ramsar sites are selected and designation process is taken place. So we have mentioned that you are going to identify and we are going to have a national designation and documentation and international recognition for these sites to improve it. So you have also mentioned what are the benefits of going for Ramsar site. That is, we are having a preservation of biodiversity, provision of ecosystem services, support for local communities. So you have mentioned the list of benefits, and then also you have covered the challenges and conservation efforts. That is our challenges. Even if we are having a sites and having the preservative and provision for ecosystem, we are having some drawbacks like pollution and deforestation. So these are the challenges, and also the conservation efforts taken for this are wetland reservation and sustainable land. So with this, you have taken a very good example of 4 sites from US and India, Bangladesh, and also you have taken sites from Spain and Botswana, and you have mentioned the key achievements for each state. That is, for US, it is a recovery of endangered species, increased water flow, improved ecosystem, and for India, we are having an increased tiger population. So nowadays, we are having the policy called Save Tiger in India. So we have very well mentioned that by taking the Ramsar site in India as increased population as one of the key achievement, and also the reduced deforestation. Nowadays, we are having the deforestation effects increasing in India. So we have mentioned that in India we are reducing the deforestation, and also we are having an increased community well-being. So again, in Spain we are having a improved water quality and enhanced biodiversity. So with this, you have concluded nicely that the Ramsar conservation is essential international treaty that aims to be the reserve wetlands and promote their sustainable units. Good, Jana, you have done a very good work and very good survey. Congrats.
Thank you, ma'am.
And let's go further. Thank you, Dr. Ganira. Great summarize. Let's go further with the next speaker, next presentation. Farana, she's a student. We teach BMA, additional head IGEN, C4G, partner representative IGEN. She have the topic International Plant Protection Convention, and she will be summarized by Dr. Adebisi. Welcome, Farana.
Good day, everyone. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for your introduction. And I would like to speak about International Plant Protection Convention, IPPC. And let me share my screen now. International Plant Protection Convention. International.
Did you hear us? I think Farana shared the screen. Try to share the screen.
Farhanaz, are you there?
Yes, ma'am. Is my screen visible, ma'am?
No, my screen is not visible.
Not
stop sharing and then you can start.
Okay. Is it visible now, ma'am?
No.
No.
So I will share, you can proceed now, you can stop. I will share.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you. I'm here to speak about International Plant Protection Convention.
Proceed.
Yes, ma'am. Can you move to the next slide?
It's visible now.
The International Plant Protection Convention is a multilateral treaty to secure global plant health. It aims to prevent the spread of pests and promote safe trade of plant and plant products. The IPPC sets international standards and provides a framework for cooperation among countries. Coming to the history of IPPC, IPPC was established in 1952 under the Food and Agriculture Organization of United Nations. It has since evolved to address emerging plant health challenges and facilitate international cooperation. The convention has over 180 contracting parties, making it a truly initiative. Coming to the key objective of IPPC, it includes the establishment of international standards for phytosanitary measures, promoting harmonization of plant health regulation, and facilitating the safe trade of plant and plant products. It also aims to prevent the spread of pests and protect the environment. Then comes the phytosanitary measures. These are the measures to protect plant from pests, disease, and contaminants. The IPPC provides the guidance on the use of these measures to ensure that they are effective and do not create unnecessary barriers to international trade. The international standards of IPPC are for phytosanitary measures which are adopted by its member countries. These standards cover a wide range of topics, including pest risk analysis, pest surveillance, and the certification of plants for export. The IPPC provides support for capacity building in developing countries, helping them to strengthen their plant health infrastructure. This also includes the training, technical assistance, and the development of national phytosanitary systems. Coming to the eradication and control of pests, IPPC encourages countries to collaborate in order to eradicate and control the pests and disease that threaten plant health. This may involve the use of biological control, quarantine measures, and other effective methods. The IPPC also plays a crucial role in facilitating safe trade of plants and plant products. It helps countries to establish mutually recognized phytosanitary measures to ensure that trade is conducted in a manner that protects plant health. The global impact of IPPC is contributing to the protection of agriculture, the environment, and the food security. Its standards and activities help to prevent the spread of pests and disease that can have devastating effect on plant health and ecosystem. While the IPPC has made substantial progress, it faces challenges such as emerging pests, climate change, and the need for increased international cooperation. However, it also presents opportunities for innovation, collaboration, and the development of sustainable plant health systems. Looking ahead for the future direction, the IPPC aims further to strengthen global plant health through enhanced collaboration, innovation, the adoption of advancement of technologies. It seeks to address new challenges and ensure the sustainability of plant health systems worldwide. The partnerships of IPPC are the World Trade Organization, WTO, and World Customs Organization, and also other international and regional bodies. These partnerships are essential for promoting coherence between trade and plant health measures. To raise the public awareness about the importance of plant health and the role of IPPC is very crucial. It involves engaging stakeholders, promoting education, and fostering a greater understanding of impact of pests and disease on plants and ecosystem. To safeguard the biodiversity, IPPC contributes by preventing the spread of invasive pests and disease that can harm natural ecosystem. It emphasizes the need to protect endangered species and preserve the balance of ecosystem. IPPC is committed to continual improvement through regular review and updating of its standard and activities. It seeks to adapt to new challenges and opportunities, ensuring that it remains at the forefront of global plant health efforts. And to conclude with, IPPC plays a vital role in strengthening global plant health through the development of international standards, capacity building, and facilitation of safe trade. It is essential for protecting agriculture, the environment, and food security on a global scale. Thank you.
Wonderful, my dear. I invite now Dr. Virginia Rivera. to summarize your presentation?
I think Dr. Zakira ma'am will do it because
Yes,
she's
ma'am.
from IGEN. Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
I will
Can you turn off? Yeah. But you can hear me, yes?
Yeah.
No?
Uh,
Okay, good. Okay, thank you,
Yes,
thank you, thank
Dr.
you.
Virginia, you can add on
Okay.
after Dr. Zakira. Sure. We'd love
Okay.
to hear it from
No,
you.
you know,
Sure.
it's no need. Go ahead.
So Farhanas, your topic is very well. Till now we are talking about what is biodiversity, and Jana has talked about what is Ramsar conversion, how to prevent the sites and wetlands. And your topic is interesting that we are talking about the uh, sustainability and also the climate changes. For all this deforestation, we need a plant protection. So we are very well chosen the topic about international plant protection convention. That is, you have started with the introduction how the group started in 1952 under the Food and Agriculture Organization. So as the current scenario, we are also given important to the agriculture. For the purpose, we are going for this IPPC in 1952. So the key objective of this is to maintain the international standard for phytosanitary promoting harmonization of plant health and regulations to save phytosanitary measures, that is to prevent the plants from pest, disease and contamination. So it is the international standards maintained, and we are also having the capacity buildings and eradication and control for different plants, and we have to check what are the levels of pesticides we can use for our agriculture purpose. And also we have to maintain the trade facilitation, which we have pointed out very well, and also we have pointed out about the global impacts of this IPPC, and also the challenges and opportunities for this international cooperation, and opportunities to maintain this challenges and operation you have very well mentioned. And also you have explained about what will be the future direction for this global plant health, and to enhance the collaboration, innovation and adaptation of advanced technologies to maintain the sustainability of plant health. So you are given the partnership details, that is WTC and WVCCO, which is mentioned very well in this IPPC. And also you have mentioned about the public awareness, how to maintain this plant health, and how the public should give the importance to this plant health while going for agriculture land. And also to safeguard this biodiversity, we have to safeguard this plant health. So you have very well concluded that the strengthening global plant health will be the current scenario for your biodiversity. Very good, Farhanas. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Zakira. That was a very comprehensive summary. Yeah. And yes, Ms. Armina.
I will invite the next speaker. I hope we not lost him again. Faiz Ayat Ansari. Are you there?
Faiz Ayat Ansari. Mr. Faiz Ayat Ansari.
Yes,
sir.
he is.
Yeah,
Let
hello.
me to present you. He is PhD Researcher Scholar, National Law School of India, University Bengaluru, Assistant Professor of Law, Senior Scale, KG School of Law, Partner Representative GSFN, and he have the topic International Walling Commission, a very good topic, and he will be summarized by Dr. Virginia.
Thank you. Thank you, dear.
Yeah, I hope I'm audible.
Yes, you are audible. You can share your presentation.
Okay, great. So, thank you, first of all, so much to all the stakeholders of this prestigious event for having me on board, actually. So, the thing is that when you talk about International Whaling Commission, before that, since me being an out and out person of law who is actually into law and legal remedies which are related to the entire safeguarding of maritime zones and maritime life, so to speak. I'll first of all try to give a brief about how does marine law, how does maritime law work, and then briefly I will just summarize very quickly about the International Whaling Commission because of paucity of time. So when we talk about maritime law in general, it deals with a number of aspects, which not only includes, let us say, which not only includes the trade aspects, but it also includes the environmental aspects. It also includes certain constitutional aspects, certain territorial aspects. So the entire blue economy or the entire trade, so to speak, works on a number of factors, a large variety of factors, the world around. So based on that, different countries across the world, they enter into agreements, they enter into contracts, they enter into conventions. What are these? It's basically a broad understanding between a large group of countries, usually. That is what we call a multilateral treaty. So it's usually a broad understanding between different countries that in principle we agree to certain aspects and we will mutually follow it over a period of time. Remember, law is a very tricky thing. I mean, I'm a lawyer, I'm a law professor. As much as I would like to believe, I would like to trust that law is a very, very important agent, a very important catalyst of social change. However, that is incorrect. Law is not really a good agent or a good catalyst of social change unless and until it gets accepted at large level by the society. Otherwise, you can keep on making your laws, you can keep on making your conventions, it will not be fruitful at all. So this dynamic of law is so much complex even at the domestic level. You can imagine what it would be at the international level, where you need to convince not only people or subjects from your own country, from your own jurisdiction, but beyond your country and beyond your jurisdiction, that something is very, very important and you need to actually follow it, and it is in your interest, so on and so forth. So in short, it's very tricky thing. So when you talk about international law and a convention like the whaling one, like the topic which I have taken up, it first of all is extremely difficult to make everyone understand the importance of this convention. Make everyone, when I use the word everyone here, I mean all the states, all the countries involved, to make them sign that convention. And then that's not the end of the day. That the content of that convention, all about the trade aspects, all about the maritime aspects, all about the environmental aspects, that should translate at ground level domestically. Otherwise, it will only remain a piece of paper of no real use. So what this convention seeks to do, it's broadly a 1940s, 1950s outcome, whereby even though originated broadly in the West, but now there are several members of this entire commission and convention jurisprudence across the world, and they broadly agree that there needs to be limitations laid down on the amount and the frequency of whaling, the entire trade activity in and around whaling, which needs to be carried out by different countries. Of course, you cannot abolish it altogether. That would be kind of illogical, because you also need to keep the economy going. So what this convention tries is, it tries to strike a balance. This entire commission tries to strike a balance between the economic and trade activities as well as the whaling activities, keeping the environment in mind, keeping the entire broad aspect of live and let live in mind, keeping the broad aspect of mutual coexistence, mutual and peaceful coexistence in mind. So by the name of it, it does appear to be an international convention, but in its true sense, in its spirit, somewhere down the line, we see that there are certain stakeholders which participate a lot more, but at the same time, there are certain stakeholders which perhaps participate a little less than expected. So, unless and until, remember, going back to law, a successful enforcement of a law can only happen when each and everyone follows it. Even if there is a minor glitch in some part of the world, it is never minor in nature. It's always major in nature because of the subject matter involved. So that is why it's a good attempt. As far as I had originally thought to go into the purpose of this entire commission and convention and the organizational structure, but within 10 minutes time framework, what I thought was best to do was lay down a broad overview of how the law and legal framework works and what are the dynamics of it at the international level, including maritime law, and then briefly discuss about how does this convention fit into the broad framework of maritime law and its framework globally. So yeah, thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much, Professor, and thank you. You did it beautifully. Obviously, you are the person who knows best, but I think my only comment is that when we combine maritime law, and thank you for explaining that, we don't really talk about this often, and the principles that follow that, and we continue to support as governments, as the stakeholders that really care about this framework that is the IWC. The blue economy will, in the future, contribute to the world. But like you said, there's so many things that we have to put together for it to work. So we just can't do one thing. I just wanted to say that when all is working together, and the reason why we're here today is because this will help us in economic development. And I think that bottom line, this is what we look for, biodiversity, but how do people live, right, in the country? So if we actually marry these two things correctly, like you were so pointedly saying, we will help in poverty reduction and the conservation of marine diversity, which is finally the most important thing. So integrating these two concepts is crucial for really ensuring the responsible and the inclusive utilization of ocean resources. And I think that if we think about that, we are mostly covered by water, but if we're not really taking care of that aspect, then we really don't have a chance. So we really need to make sure that we know what we're doing, and we need more professors like you explaining the big part of it, so we understand how everything else fits in. So I know 10 minutes is not enough, but I really appreciate your effort in trying to make it a lot clearer for us. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Ansari. That was a fabulous presentation. Well, connecting it to the compliance fact and the legalities involved in it. It was quite comprehensive and much needed. It's a need of the hour that I would say that anybody who is going to say that I'm a stakeholder who is going to voice out views or going to contribute towards it should exactly know about the complaints of the local community and the globally as well. So that thanks for that mention, and thanks for the brilliant summary from Dr. Virginia. Thank you so much, Dr. Virginia. I always had to support. We know that. And towards that, we have come to the end of nearly the end of the session. I think we need to hear from Ms. Lara, who has been waiting with very patiently right from the beginning of the session. Ms. Lara, Ms. Hermina, I think we should welcome Ms. Lara.
Yes, it's a really pleasure because she impressed me so much in the last session. Lara Nunez, she is a student, current affairs and climate enthusiast, partner representative GSFN, and she had the topic Ramsar Convention. Welcome, dear Lara.
Hello to everyone. I'm sorry for my voice. I'm a little bit sick right now, but I'm here and I'm ready to present. So right now I'll be sharing my screen and I'll be talking about the Ramsar Convention and why is it so important that we talk about this topic. So, well, what is the Ramsar Convention, first of all? It's a convention on wetlands of international importance in Ramsar Islands that happened on the 2nd February of 1971. And this convention had in mind to put wetlands as a center ecosystem because they are so valuable for our planet. So why wetlands? As I was saying, these wetlands have, well, they're such an amazing ecosystem. Like seriously, they do a lot of favors for us and for our entire planet because they're actually carbon sinks. So these wetlands, since they have a lot of algae that are underground, that these algae need to, do the cellular breeding with carbon dioxide. They trap a lot of the carbon dioxide that is in the atmosphere. So naturally, they can store from 81 to 2,061 tons of carbon by acre. That is a lot of carbon dioxide that is stored, and especially right now with the problem that we have in our atmospheres and in our planet with global warming. This can be an excellent method of nature regulation that it is very, very important that we protect. For example, here in Mexico City, where I live, we have around 3 wetlands. And if these wetlands were to disappear, or if just one of them was to disappear, then the temperature in Mexico City would rise of the 2%. So that are 2 degrees up. So instead of being like at 18 degrees right now, it would be at 20. So that's the great impact that wetlands really do have in our life and in the planet. Also, wetlands are like in the midst of a complex trophic resource and a complex like biodiversity ecosystem. So protecting wetlands can also protect biodiversity. For example, in the Xochimilco wetlands here in Mexico City, we can find the 11% of... No, that's in whole Mexico. We can find the 2% of the world biodiversity in the Xochimilco wetlands. So that is a lot of endemic species that inhabitate this kind of wetlands. Therefore, it's extremely important that we protect them. And also, they can protect human settlings from erosion, floods, and droughts. So these wetlands are like very useful for us humans because not only can they help us solve the climate, the global warming issue, but we can also use them to protect our settlings and to be safe. So these are the 3 countries that have the most Ramsar sites, as the person that talked about Ramsar said before. They all have specific qualifications to be able to join Ramsar, and the 3 countries are United Kingdom and Great Britain and Northern Ireland. Then we have Mexico with 144 and China with 82. So as a proud Mexican, I would like to talk to you more about the Xochimilco wetlands. These are historically very important wetlands because there we can find a very interesting relation between man and nature. In the Xochimilco wetlands, the ancient Xochimilcans, that are indigenous people from the Valley of Mexico, they created this impressive agro-system called the Chinampas. Now, what is a Chinampa? A Chinampa is a parcel of land that is found over the wetland where people can go and plant their crops. This is a fascinating topic that I'm really passionate about because it's a sustainable urban agro-system because the wetlands are found in the midst of the city, which means that they can feed the urban populations, and they had feed them for thousands of years. In fact, the ancient capital of Mexico City in pre-Hispanic times, Tenochtitlan, was fed by these Xochimilco wetlands. So these were acres and acres of fake parcels that were found over the water that have an extremely great quality of food because the soils are fed with water that comes from the volcanoes, so they can bring extremely good food quality, and they ensure that the populations here are fed with the best mineral-filled vegetables and everything that we can find here. But unfortunately, these wetlands and this practice of the Xochimilco chinampas have been extremely endangered by three key factors. The first of all is urbanization and irregular settlements. Because what they don't tell you about often in the news outlets and in the governments is that a lot of people come to these protected areas, especially in like third world countries where there's not a lot of vigilance. They come into these areas, and since they are disoccupied, they build houses that are like slums. They're not formal, they do not have the formal basic services, and so they use the water of the wetlands to throw away all their waste. So all their trash, all their chemicals that were used for, I don't know, washing clothes, and all of that goes into the wetlands, and that endangers the species living there, and that endangers the quality of the water. Also, these urbanization methods are taking and 80% of the Chinampa parcels that were there before, they're unoccupied right now, because since the water quality decreases, then the productivity rates of this incredible agro-system also decreases. So it is a very strong crisis in Mexico City, I would say, because this is a practice that has been since the 14th century. And I think it's our legacy, and we should totally protect it, because if we do not do something right now, the chinampas will start to disappear. And if they disappear, then the wetland disappears as well, because they create a symbiotic relationship with these wetlands. So if we stop this practice, a lot of more people would come and make their irregular settlements over the wetlands, that would leave them to dry up, because there will be like absolutely no maintenance of the wetlands and their quality of like the water. So that's something that I really wanted to talk today, not only because it's a growing crisis in Mexico, but also because this is a perfect example of how man and nature can work together to create economic growth, because then again, an agro-system is also a business, right? So this is an example where social and economically and environmentally, man and nature can work together to create something amazing and something awesome. So before I end this, I invite you all to follow me on my social media. There's my Instagram, and I've also recently published a paper talking about this incredible agro-system that I will leave below in the chat if anyone is interested to know more. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Laura. That was a wonderful presentation. Well, the way you presented it, we are quite impressed, and covering about the most topics of Ramsar Convention. And definitely, as you rightfully said, we should work towards a wise use of our wetlands, with the designate suitable wetlands, with the list of the things that you have mentioned from globally across the globe, with the international importance, and to ensure of its effective management, definitely will be taken into consideration. And we'll look into your paper as well. I'm so curious and so very inquisitive. I'm quite eager to know more about it. Definitely, maybe next time when we catch up and we should speak more on that paper, maybe we'll allow you to present it over here on this platform. Well, last but not the least, as you have placed a very beautiful request that we all should work towards getting things done, because Earth is the only planet that we have. Let's all cooperate internationally without any restrictions, without crossing transboundary, and let's protect our wetlands and the systems of the shared species. Thank you so much. Laura, thank you so much. That was a wonderful presentation. Ms. Ermina, I think we have come to the concluding session now. So would you like to add something, Ms. Ermina?
Yes, I am here. As always, has been such an honor to be part of this wonderful session. And I want to salute your big efforts to bring us together here today. my heartfelt gratitude to you, to all the speakers, to all the panelists from today, and as usually a round of applause for your initiative. Finally, I want to thanks to all present in the chat live. Was a great day, a grand success, and a great presentation. Biodiversity decline is not longer about existing exotic species and failed remote rainforests or melting polar glaciers. It's about food desertification, anger, about the drinking water crisis, about unbreathable air, like I said at the beginning. A change in the mentality of people is needed. We must look at nature as a house, like said Virginia, we have an only house. Yes, to be taken care of, not as a bottomless sack of natural resources. We must see nature as a partner and treat it as such, learn to co-create a future based on nature, instead of talking as much and as quickly as possible from it. Let me present our gratitude to Paradas, Alanya Dila, Lina Joshi, Fayaz Ayat, to our panelists, Dr. Virginia Rivera, Dr. Lashmi, Dr. Zahira, Dr. Renuka Tracore, Dr. Jose Luis Esteves, Dr. Temido Adeoju, Professor General Eboria Charles, Dr. Adebisi, who are every day here. And I will continue with the speakers, Halimat Tope, Akaje, Lakshita. They have the topic Convention on Biological Diversity. Dr. Ali Abi Ibrahim, Polinar Gorata Pinemal, Convention of Biological Diversity, like topic. Bharati, with the topic Convention of Migratory Species. Jana and Lara Nunez, with the topic Ramsar Convention. And Faiz Ayat, with the topic International Whaling Commission. Paranas and Alanya Adila, with the topic International Plant Protection Convention. Lina Joshi, Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species of Wild Fauna and Flora. Iwara George, with the topic International Treaty on Plant Genetic Resources for Food. And these are all the speakers. Thanks to all of you. And again, thank you for this initiative.
Thank you, Ms. Sarmina. Thank you. Thank you. It's always a pleasure having you. And despite all odds from your side, your internet, you're already busy with one more parallelly another conference going on. Can understand that we're going to miss your beautiful face tomorrow. It's giving me jitters, however. Definitely, it's always a pleasure. The backbone of strength and support. Thank you so much. Yes, Dr. Virginia, please, can we hear from you?
First of all, I want to congratulate everyone. Today was a great way to end this entire series. I think that when we really listen today, and we know the challenges, we're living the challenges, but it's the integration of these crucial conventions, these treaties, and these frameworks that we've heard about today so eloquently from our speakers that will help us ensure responsibly and inclusively that we will be able to use the resources that we need in the future. I think that sometimes we forget the importance. People are doing things. We are getting together. There's some efforts going through. And although we like to pinpoint the challenges that we still face, we never really see, or we don't create awareness of what's already happening. So when all these things are working together and we know what they are, which is what we did today, presenting them, then we can preserve our health, the health of our planet, but most importantly, we can bring resilience to our ecosystem. Every single thing has an ecosystem in order to survive. If we can work with each ecosystem and we can get to know it, and we realize that we already have things that are in place to help us have a better planet and really, really help with the adversity that climate change is bringing, then we can actually grow. So I really want to commend you, Dr. Trivia, for really bringing this. This is a great approach to really bringing information in so we're all interconnected, we can all listen. And I think that by highlighting the importance of biodiversity as a defense mechanism against climate change, you're really making youth aware, but you're also making us aware. So thank you for doing this. I know that it's momentous. I know it's huge, and all the little pieces. There's so many things that you have to do in order to have today done, but you make it happen. And I know it's not easy, but I want to congratulate you because it's amazing. And every single person that is in your entire team contributes. And they're so important. So thank you. And I just want to say hats off to everybody and a round of applause again. I also echo
Thank you, Dr. Virginia. Thank you. Thanks for those golden words. As you rightfully mentioned, it's a team effort. And what I could see end of the day is the passion. Kids are so passionate about exactly what they are going to speak. And imagine every time I keep repeating the same thing. This day, this moment, this state, this diaspora is so precious to them, because imagine they would not have spent how many days of hard work, how many days of toil they would have just put into it, in the research work, in doing the presentation, practicing it, rehearsing it with the mentors, correcting, go back and working on it and presenting it with so much of confidence, with so much of awareness, with so much of knowledge, exactly, to make such an impact exactly towards its rationale, towards the objective of the whole program. I could see the only word passion. As an educationist, for all of our mentors, hats off, especially people from IGEN, really commendable, in the sense commendable, real role models of being in education. Hats off to IGEN mentors, Dr. Lakshmi, Dr. Zakira ma'am, Dr. Ramesh, Dr. Kavita ma'am, Dr. Subramaniam, and so many of them. If I missed anybody, please excuse me for it. And really, that's how that we could see the impact, that we could see the output. Even if they are not able to present, immediately they come in and say that, okay, let me just present it for you. And that shows the commitment level, exactly. And I'm so proud to share this platform. Being an educationist, end of the day, it's for the sake of the community. Yes, it is for the sake of the community. Is it for the sake of the stakeholders, the younger generation, guiding them as role models, as a friend, philosopher and guide? Yes, we are doing it. It's fabulous. And also about IIU, really such a immense support. I can't say one, I can't just pick up one or two here. Everybody, and Dr. Adibisi, who has been so consistently, and today he has just gone out for, we missed him in the session halfway through because he has got another training program who is training tomorrow's session topics and the speakers. So he has already committed for the training session. So people are really, some of them are really committed, and they're so very passionate about exactly what they are doing. Yes, Dr. Zakira ma'am, please, would like to hear from you. Thank you.
It's a very much pleasure to be a part of IGEN, ma'am. Through IGEN, we have connected to you as a mentor, and also we are mentoring so many students. So interest of students is main, ma'am. It is not only our part. So students are coming up with their presentation a week ahead, and they are presenting the trial session. They are spending their time. Preparation of the students are very well than the faculties. So we are very well impressed of this younger generation, ma'am. They are very much interested, and through the younger generation we can communicate and we can make changes in this climate, and also we can make some improvement for our sustainability.
Exactly. They are going to be the future leaders, ma'am. Exactly.
Yeah, they are going to lead the future. Yes.
Well, Ms. Sarmina, please allow me to conclude the thing and give the final takeaways for today, if I am allowed to do so. Thank you so much. As we all know, biodiversity is currently being lost at to about 1,000 times from the nature's actual rate. So scientists are referring to the crisis as Earth's 6th mass extinction. Today, our kids have presented so much in detail about the endangered species, comparable to the greatest extinction crisis of 65 million ago. Imagine, from the current day today, this kind of extinction had happened only 65 million ago. These extinctions are irreversible, and they really pose a serious threat to our health and well-being. So, as a protective measure, as we all know, we have seen today in different ways how the students, the younger generation, have presented themselves so confidently, whether it is Ramsar Convention, IPCC, everything as such. Designation and management of the protected areas is the cornerstone of biodiversity conservation. We need to do it. However, despite an increase of total number of protected areas in the world, biodiversity continues to decline. However, what all measures that we have taken? As some of them have really mentioned, growth in the protected areas in many countries is helping to maintain the options of the future for the future, but sustainable use of the management of the territory outside the protected areas remains a top priority. That is one. Measures to improve the environmental status within the conservated areas combined with the land scale approach of the local community are urgently needed if the efficiency of these projects have to be improved. So, third is that awareness. Lack of adequate technical knowledge which is required, and also financial resources to combat these battles of capacity building can limit and upscale as we need to upscale the innovative solutions which are required, demonstrating further the need for the regional and sub-regional cooperation within the local community. Last but not the least, definitely what is required is the capacity building is a key factor of successful avoidance of the reduction of the land degradation and informed restoration processes and the measures and the policies and the strategies. So capacity development needs to be addressed at all the three levels of national, state, provincial and the local department as well. So there is a need for capacity building to enable these resources outside the government to inform relevant departments in the policies of biodiversity through consultancies that we are trying to do, through academics part of it, and also through universities and also through the projects. So thank you so much. Thanks for those wonderful takeaways of today, and we have definitely learned so much from our younger generation. So on that note, next week topic is going to be more interesting as it is put into action. So let's all work together before it is too late to mend. So because as Dr. Virginia was mentioning, Earth is the only planet that we have and we need to conserve it. We need to put in all of our measures to protect it. Thank you so much. Thanks for those wonderful speakers and the mentors who have joined us for today's session. Thank you. So until we meet again, it's adieu from all of us. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. It was
Bye-bye.
wonderful. Bye.
Yeah. And don't forget about tomorrow's session, that is Education 360. I'm keeping my fingers crossed. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.